So let's talk about the metaverse. For years, it was hyped up as the next big thing, this billion-dollar digital frontier. But now, it just feels like a super expensive, totally abandoned ghost town. But what if that's exactly what Meta wants you to think? What if this whole spectacular failure is actually part of a genius plan in disguise?
All right, let's just get right to it. Is the metaverse dead? I mean, if you look at the headlines or just the fact that none of your friends are swapping real life for VR, the answer feels like a pretty big yes. And honestly, you're not wrong for thinking that. And it's not just us saying that. The entire tech world seems to agree. This quote really says it all. That big dream of living our lives inside a VR headset seems to be completely over. It feels like the end of an era, but like we're about to see, appearances can be really, really deceiving. Okay, let's dig into the evidence. Because this isn't just about a few bad headlines. We're talking about a deliberate shutdown of the very project that was supposed to be the metaverse for all of us. Okay, here's the bombshell. Meta is pulling the plug on Horizon Worlds in VR. Just let that sink in for a second. The company that literally changed its name to Meta is killing the VR version of its main Metaverse app. It's a shocking and kind of public admission that their huge bet failed. Or did it?
But this is where the plot really starts to thicken. Right when you're ready to just write off social VR for good, you run into this paradox. A pretty huge one, actually.
Which brings us to this critical question. If the whole idea of a social VR space is a dead end, then why on earth is VR chat so popular? We're talking about a massive, super passionate community. What did they figure out that a trillion-dollar company like Meta just completely missed? Well, this breakdown tells the whole story. I mean, look at the difference. It's night and day. Meta's vision for Horizon Worlds was all corporate, built from the top down. They basically tried to give us a virtual office with like scheduled meetings. It felt like work. VR chat, on the other hand, grew from the bottom up. It's all community-driven. It's about being creative, hanging out, and just having fun. One was a boardroom, the other's a playground. And let's be real, we all know which one people are going to choose. And that is the absolute key right there. The tech was never the issue. People love hanging out in VR. The real problem was Meta's vision. They built a virtual boardroom when what the world was really asking for was a virtual playground. Okay, so case closed, right? Meta failed, community won, end of story. Well, not so fast. Because this is where our whole investigation takes a really sharp turn. While everyone was busy watching Horizon Worlds go down in flames, they missed Meta's real move. You have to get this. Even with the public failure, even after admitting their dream is dead, Meta is not backing down from VR. No way. In fact, they're doubling down, and they're doing it in a way almost nobody sees coming. Just forget the failed app for a second and follow the money. This chart tells the real story. Meta is, by a crazy margin, the biggest investor in the entire VR industry. They're outspending basically everyone else, combined. So the billion-dollar question is, why? Well, the answer is a classic Silicon Valley move. It's a playbook written by one of the most successful companies in history. See, Meta isn't trying to build the next popular app. They're trying to become the next Apple. It's called the Apple strategy, and it's brilliant. Instead of trying to make the one-hit app, you focus on building the device that everyone uses to get to all the apps. You sacrifice that short-term software fame for long-term hardware dominance. Does that sound familiar? It should. It's the exact same playbook that made the iPhone the single most dominant piece of tech on the planet. So check it out. Here's Meta's secret 4-step plan. Step 1, launch an app like Horizon Worlds, not to succeed, but to gather a ton of data. Step 2, let it fail in public while you're secretly learning what people really want from VR. Step 3, and this is the genius move, you use all those learnings to quietly build and sell the best, most popular hardware out there, the Quest headsets. Which all leads to the end game, Step 4, own the platform. You become the gatekeeper to the entire next generation of computing. So if the old metaverse is dead, and Meta's real plan is to own all the hardware, what does that mean for us? Well, the future isn't what you probably think it is. It's not about being strapped into a headset 24/7. It's something way more connected to our everyday lives. This is the future, the hybrid metaverse. And here's how to think about it. The metaverse actually starts on the device you're probably holding right now, your phone. That's the main entry point for everybody. It's easy, it's accessible. The VR headset, that becomes the premium, super immersive experience for people who want to go deeper. So the metaverse isn't dead. It's just getting way more flexible. So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways here. First, Meta's software failure was really just a strategic retreat. Second, the real war isn't about one app, it's about dominating the hardware. Third, the metaverse isn't dead, it's just moving to your phone. And maybe the biggest lesson in all of this? Community-built worlds will always, always win over corporate ones. At the end of the day, Meta is playing the long game. They're betting tens of billions of dollars that they can own the next massive shift in how we all use technology, just like Microsoft owned the desktop and Apple owns mobile. They're willing to lose a small battle over an app to win the massive war for the entire platform. So the final question isn't whether the metaverse is dead. The real question is, when it finally arrives in its true